Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the STTD podcast. As usual, I'm joined by Tom and Tom, and today we're talking to Kate Harbour. So, hello, Kate, how are you doing?
Hi there. I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
That's really good to hear. And for our viewers out there, can you explain where they likely know you from, where they'll know your voice from?
Well, I suppose the main one would be Wendy in the original Bob the Builder. They might recognise me from that, but not speaking like this.
I think this is amazing because most of our viewership is of our age at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of listen to this to hear about different occupations
Yes.
and what people do around the world. And this is one that I'm certain everyone will know. Everyone, I think, will have come across your voice at some point, and that's why I'm really looking forward to this one. Just going to move on to Tom and Tom and ask how are you two doing?
Yeah, we're doing good, yeah.
Great.
I'd just like to add. Sorry, just before, I'd just like to add that, on the back of Sam when he was on about the audience and things like that. I grew up with Bob the Builder. I had all the toys and things like that. So it's just like he said, it's quite amazing to have you on.
Well, it's so lovely. It's so lovely to be on, honestly. I'm having a wonderful time. It's quite surreal, isn't it?
It really is.
It's very strange. The voice of your youth.
That's amazing.
Brilliant. Right then, so Sam, if you want to carry on introing Tom.
Oh, go on then. Okay, so we're going to go all the way back to the very, very start of your career.
Back to the very beginning. You know.
Exactly. So acting school. Did you go to an acting school?
Well, I went to the Arts Educational School in Tring, Hertfordshire, and it was a part vocation, part educational school. So I learnt pretty much everything there, and I primarily focused on dance. Actually, I wanted to be well, I don't know if I wanted to be a ballerina as such, but I wanted to dance definitely, and yes, so that's where it started, and I suppose the rot set in. The rot set in then, because the thing was, someone said to me, or they said to my dad. My father was an actor actually, and so he it kind of I was always surrounded by a theatrical world and all of that, so it was very natural to me, and it made sense. I was always told I'd never make a dancer, actually, but I suppose they were kind of right. But I did do a lot within dance at the start of my career. Um, and yeah, they always told me that, I got Celtic hips, you see. It's not quite the lithe sort of thing that you need as a ballerina. But music was my thing. I absolutely adored music. And so, yeah, I got the bug there, you see, because I auditioned for the school used to do provide the sort of chorus, as it were, for the Nutcracker at the Royal Festival Hall with the Royal Festival Ballet, and so you had to audition for these little characters, and well, I did, and I was very excited because I got first mouse out of the oven. And that was a thrill for me. But it wasn't just that. We were doing the Chinese dancers within the Nutcracker, with all the wonderful umbrellas and everything, and the mice and the mermaids and all of this sort of stuff. And honestly, I think I was 12, and the applause, not the noise of the theatre. I mean, it was about 3,000 seater, I think. Absolutely blew me away, and that did it. That was me then. I like this. I want to do more of this, please. Thank you very much. So being on the stage was the magic about it was just unbelievable to me. And and the humour as well, especially one specific moment I remember. I couldn't quite see out of my mask because they've got the bridge of the nose was really wide, and so you were looking forward, and I had to sort of leap on the backs of these two soldiers who were on their hands and knees. It sounds a bit dodgy. So with the together, and so I ran up and I jumped off them, and the thing was I couldn't see a bloody thing, so I put my foot through the middle of them, and I fell, on the stage.
No.
So I had to improvise, and I did actually say shit. And one of them said, "I beg your pardon." When I was, did a little sort of, thing with my hands and improvised and ran off. I was absolutely petrified, and I felt like such an idiot as well. But I did tell them that my mask didn't fit, and they didn't listen to me.
It's their fault.
It's
of
their
a
fault.
It should have listened.
Someone should have listened to me. Anyway, God, that was a bloody long answer. Sorry. There you go.
No, it's
That
fine.
is what we want. We want those long answers so that we can go for like the hour and a half episode or whatever.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So obviously you did that. When did the voice acting come in? Like, when did you start pursuing that mainly as a focus?
Well, I suppose I should just say that I started off by mimicking all the time, driving my parents absolutely spare, or making them laugh independently, whatever. At the same time, it was the Muppets that did that. I just couldn't. I was mesmerised by them. You know that. Oh no, I can't say that. I was going to talk about a person who used to run a show that used to be able to get children's dreams made real.
Okay.
I can't go there, obviously.
I just clocked what you meant.
Yes, but that was my dream. I wanted to go and meet them. I wanted to be backstage. I wanted to be with the Muppets. Anyway, that didn't happen. I just started to improvise and try and, take them off and all of that stuff. I remember one time I took a little Kermit hand puppet with me because my dad had been to America and he'd come back and he brought this fantastic little puppet. And I started, pretending to mouth the words, and I sang halfway down the stairs. I can't believe I did this. Halfway down the stairs to the year 7, I think it was, in the front of the class. I was doing all the actions, little movements with the face and everything. Absolutely just mesmerised by puppetry as well and all of that. Anyway, cut a long story short, I kept doing that and impersonating people, that you see on the telly like Frank Spencer and Janet Brown, and really showing my age now. And so, doing all that and always mucked about with my voice. So having gone through training at, I went to Central then, Central School of Ballet, with the wonderful Christopher Gable and Carol Gable. And I, having studied there, I kept going with my voices. I just kept on mucking about, and I, doing giraffe impressions in the canteen for some reason. I just, and really kind of embodying physically a character with my face and everything. So it's all about the whole body, I suppose. So that's the sort of link, I suppose, with the physicality of it, of the dancing and everything, I think, and the music has really helped me with all of this. So anyway, I'm losing my thread. So basically, did some work there. In the second year, actually, I got to perform with what's his name? No, the National Youth Music Theatre. Have you heard of them?
I can't say I have.
No.
Right. Well, they are a fantastic group who put on shows, and it's like a sort of club, really. You become a member, and then you go off and do all these various different shows with them. And I was playing the dancer in a show called Les Petits Rats, Les Petits Rats, at the Sadler's Wells Theatre. And actually, that was with Johnny Lee Miller and Charles Edwards and and Jude Law. And that was a lot of fun. Oh my goodness me. So I was, in the second year at Central. And so just completely surrounded by, the people that I really understood in a theatrical sense. So did all that. But it was after it was just after I left Central that I'm getting back to what you were asking me. It's just after I left there, I did an audition for somebody who realised that I could do all these different voices and things, and I made a tape showing my age again. I made a tape, and it was I was reading from the book called The Ants, or some sort of, I can't remember exactly what the book was, but anyway, had lots of different characters in it, and I just read that to the. I just read it and embodied all these characters, sent it off, and then I kind of got an agent out of it. I don't quite know how it all happened. It all just did. And yeah, so then I started, auditioning and doing various things. And when I'd finished at the Watford Palace Theatre, that was my first ever job, real, equity card style. Was the back end of Maggie the Cow at Watford Palace Panto, and that was with who was the front was George Asprey, who was for many years Scar in The Lion King. He also happened to be my boyfriend. Anyway, moving on. This is just like the Kate Harbour show, isn't it? Really, I'm just rambling on.
No, it's perfect.
This is exactly what we're going for. We just love to hear these stories of how people got to where they are now.
And it is bizarre, isn't it? Because it is a kind of weird journey to get to what you asked me. But it is relevant for me, because it's all part of, what makes you up as a person. And your experience going from one place to the next. And perhaps as a younger person, not thinking, that this is what I would end up doing. You've got the world there, and you're just thinking, right, I'm going to do this, and you're kind of launching into all sorts of different avenues. And the thing was, this job was my private joy, as it were, amongst all of that. This was my sort of fun and my enthusiasm and my passion, really. And it was like my own little secret, my own thing that I could do that I just enjoyed so much. And I suppose that's the key, isn't it? That, it's something from deep within that you want, and that you feel that you can express yourself with. And I guess that's how that all came. There is a funny story actually about the Maggie the Cow. We actually fell off the stage at one point. we thought so George thought that he'd hit the back cloth, and normally we hit the back cloth and then we walk off, but this time he hit the cross arch, not realizing, and so he did the usual, which was go down stage 2 steps, and we just proceeded to walk straight off the side. Split. I managed to say "ooh, here we go," or some words to that effect, and we split the cowskin, and the whole audience, you could just hear, they were just like horrified. It must have looked hilarious, and yeah, came on for the walk down at the end, sort of looking like a pissed cow. Oh God! But anyway, yeah. So that's that. But after that, and then just before, when I was doing Phantom, Ken Hill's Phantom, which I'll talk about a bit later, but that was when I started to get some auditions for voice work, and I think the first ever proper job that I did for that was with a company called SFTV. I used to call them Stuffy Face Telly, because they did great lunch, and so I went in and did that. I did an audition for them, and it was for one particular character. And then they said, "Oh, do you think you could do this and this one?" And then it just so happened that I could. I was creating characters like what was it, Donna the Dragon and Sandy the Sock, and all these different characters. And I suppose from there, they went, "Oh goodness, great! So we can pay this person, and they can do several characters." And that's just the way it went. And at that point, obviously people just said, right, great, let's get her in. So then I made a proper CD. It's a CD by then, tape, whatever it was, CD. And it happened to land on a lady called Jackie Cockle. It landed on her doorstep the moment that she was actually looking for somebody for this particular series called Okie Doke. And then it spun off from there. It all kind of kicks off from there, really. And she was like, "Yep, great, let's get her in, see what." And there were I can't remember how many characters there were in Okie Doke, but quite a few. And yeah, I just absolutely loved it. And it was just, I felt like I'd arrived, you know. Just the whole thing of being there and just being with these wonderful characters. Oh God, it was just like a blooming sweet shop for me. So that's that in a very, very long-winded answer to your question of when did it all start. So that's it, really.
Well, thank you for that.
No.
That was great. You know, I would ask another one, but I feel like I've kind of hogged it. Well, I mean, yeah, I've kind of hogged it with the questions. So I'm going to say Sam. Sam, do you want to choose something?
Yeah, I'll happily go ahead. I mean, looking at your filmography, it starts with Okie Dokie in. It says here 1995.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
And then it's kind of roll after roll, year on year, until in. Let's see when the actual year was.
Are you looking at Spotlight?
I am on currently IMDb.
Oh, that. Oh God.
And
Yes.
there is a lot on IMDb of. I mean, there's loads. Just seeing your filmography, it's huge.
Yes, IMDb is quite tricky because obviously you put in, you know, you update it when you can remember, and you put something in, and then weirdly other things attach themselves to you. I don't know who puts the stuff in. It's not me, and it kind of generates automatically, I think, when you're on the credits. So yeah, there are a couple of things on there that I don't actually remember doing at all. So
Oh, wow.
I'm just thinking, oh God, can I be bothered to actually? No, I'll just leave it. I don't care.
Just looks impressive.
Well, yeah. But I mean, obviously, there's a lot there. But yes, I mean, I've actually, I'll let you into a secret. I've got my Spotlight CV up in front of me so that I can try and remember what the hell I've done over the years because I can't remember. But that isn't that a nice thing to say? God, yeah, lots of stuff.
I mean, that's the thing. It's such a huge over the past. I can't do the maths quickly. If anyone wants to, 25, 30 years.
25, 30, yeah.
That time there have been so many roles, and I believe I'm just going to quickly pass over to Tom because I know Tom has a few questions on what is probably your most known role. You mentioned it earlier, Wendy.
That's right. Yes, Wendy and Bob the Builder, and possibly Dizzy the Cement Mixer from that as well, because I used to play all the different characters. There were a couple of other fantastic artists who came in to add some extras for it. But yes, Dizzy was, I would say, was probably pretty well known. What else would there be? Yeah, I suppose it's that. It's the younger ones really that would know, and then they sort of jump up in the air and go, "Oh my goodness, you know," like Messi Goes to Okie Doke. That's the most recent, I suppose. So I'm Zoe and Zam in that, and various things. And what would it be? Oh, Fimbles, yes. What else? Can't really think. Timmy Time. I do all the female characters in that.
We do have a few questions on the
Oh, do
Shaun the
you?
Sheep Timmy Time.
Oh,
We're saving them for later. We're going.
okay.
It's,
I'm jumping the gun.
No,
Right,
no,
you carry on.
it's brilliant. But for just sticking with Bob the Builder at the
Yes.
moment.
Yes.
I'm going to pass to Tom. Tom, I believe you have some Bob the Builder questions.
Yes, my questions are in fact Bob the Builder related, and that is, what was the casting process like when you got? Well, did you approach the BBC for it?
Well, this was an interesting one actually because I'd worked with Jackie Cockle on Okie Doke. They actually I'd also worked with her on Bramley Hedge, which was a beautiful film. and yeah, I was actually weirdly playing opposite Neil Morrissey for that, because he was playing a little mouse and so was I, and it was just a really magical moment so we worked really well together, and it was great. So I was brought in to audition for the part of Wendy when I believe Emma Chambers, rest in peace, actually got Notting Hill, and she
Right.
couldn't do it. So
Oh,
she'd
wow.
already been cast as Wendy, and so she had to duck out of it. So they were kind of, oh God, who do we get, kind of thing. And I think a lot of people were auditioned at the time, but I do think that possibly the work that I'd done with Jackie, and that we'd already got a great working relationship, that must have helped. But we did go through the whole round of, her and how they wanted her to sound and how it sat right. So I think we tried lots of different accents and things, and then kind of just settled around the sort of generic sort of northern. It's not specific. Uh, Phraseology, and character, really.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's how it came about. And I could not believe my luck when I got it. And honestly, I must have screamed for hours. I was just so happy. And especially to know that I'd be working with somebody such as Jackie, who, quite frankly, is one of the best producers, I believe, ever. And is just so passionate about it too. About telling good stories and the integrity of a story and the way it's made. That sounds a bit wanky, but I really mean it. She's fabulous. Anyway, so it worked really well, and then off we go. So then it all started.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's quite interesting, especially the fact you also got the opportunity to play Dizzy too as well. So you say you was cast for just Wendy at first. How did they come about?
The other characters, well, they
Yes.
I think we probably I honestly can't remember the audition, but I probably touched upon that. But I think Dizzy possibly might be my inner favourite of them all, because I think she's sort of a bit of a bit of me, really. I always used to do a little silly little voice like that when I was younger. When I was a kid growing up, just being a bit sort of daft around the house and stuff. And so I took that sort of essence and then tried to emulate what they wanted, which was just this excitable, inquisitive cement mixer. But she's got cement going round and round in her belly, and she's just like might put a foot in it or her wheel in it at any point, but she's just so ridiculously enthusiastic and happy and jolly, and just wants everything to be rather nice, really, in life. And
So she's gosh, I haven't done her for quite some time actually. Really, yeah, she's great, and she loves her music too. So she's going, or da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da.
she gets herself into all sorts of scrapes and stuff, but I absolutely loved her, and she
Absolutely adored Wendy. She loved her, and things. So yeah, that was that really.
It's just so surreal to hear.
It really is.
It's amazing.
It really is.
and Pilchard, of course. That was me. That was based
Whoa.
on that was for me. That was based on Charlie says you wouldn't know it, but there was a Green Cross Code advert, and it had the sort of ginger cat in it, and the ginger cat used to speak, and it just used to speak a little bit like that. So that was where I based Pilchard.
Pilchard off.
Brilliant, brilliant. As back onto the idea about when you was talking about Dizzy, I thought it was quite interesting how you said that your sort of childhood kind of, you use that voice and kind of like mix that, which is kind of, would you see it as improvisation? Was there quite an intense specification of what you must say in what sort of tone, or could you kind of be a bit more free within it?
I think really generally you could certainly be free, because obviously they're asking you, what can you bring? What can you bring to this character? What would you do, if you saw this character? What kind of what do they sound like? I mean, when you look at Dizzy, and I've actually got a little model of Dizzy in my hand. Actually, she's got this because she sits here with me, you see, whilst I'm recording. These little goggly eyes and this massive mouth with big sort of a grate for teeth.
Which is really wide. And, it's just, yeah.
And she's got these kind of round things on her ear which look like headphones. And, so I don't know, I can't remember the process, but it just sort of came about. Then they started to tweak it, and it was more really to do with, it wasn't just putting on that voice, it was more about encouraging the sort of her personality. So they told me things about her, and the kind of relationship between her and Wendy, and what her job was around the place, and all of that, and it just sort of all came about from there, really, and developed from there. So yeah, it was definitely, you could certainly be freer at the beginning, the initial phase, which you generally are with things, because people give you the chance to settle in with something, and embed it in, really, to find the character, and we found her quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting, especially with that freedom aspect. Did the studio that you filmed it in, was that in the BBC area, or did you do that at home? Because I suppose if you did it at home, that could link in with a more sort of relaxed atmosphere that allowed you to be free. Or was it more of a studio where
No,
it was on the day?
to be honest, it was at a wonderful studio called Wild Tracks, which was in was it Frith or Greek? I can't remember. Soho, and when you say being free, it's interesting, because as an actor, from an actor's point of view, it's much nicer, I believe, to be, within a company, and so you really are. It's not about you at all. It's about the collective. It's about getting the story right. It's about bouncing off each other, which is a ridiculous phrase, but it is. It's bouncing off people's energy, enthusiasm, laughter, fun, and that's what we had. We really had a really fantastic feeling of, to use a horrible, cheesy phrase, family, but it was a team. It was a really fantastic team of people to work with, and so you were free to do that. It's not you're not put on the spot, as it were, as you might be if you're on your own. You're in the collective, so it's just fun. If you don't find that fun, then I wouldn't know why you would be doing it, really, because the fun absolutely comes out in the recording. You can hear it. You can hear the cohesion with the characters. You can hear the sort of nuance of fun and kind of mischievousness, because, I mean, let's face it, every single read through we did, well, I'm just very glad they didn't record those. The thing was that we were allowed to do that. We had the freedom to do that and the luxury of time to do it. And we found a lot of phrases and a lot of character stuff that occurred during the read through. And it was that magic, really, that, we were able to discipline ourselves to, all right, rein it in. Yeah, we'll keep that. No, don't say that. Yeah, okay, let's swap that for that. So the script wasn't absolutely set in stone. We were able to play. And it just absolutely came across. And yeah, it was a magical time.
Brilliant. And I mean, one thing that must have been talked about quite a lot, and it's a certain phrase that is used throughout Bob the Builder, which is, "Can we fix it?" And I feel like, Sam, you're going to emphasize a bit more about this.
I'd actually like to come to the song "Can We Fix It," which we had to listen to beforehand.
Yes.
And we found it was the Christmas #1 in December 2000.
Yes.
But listening through the song, Wendy and some of your other characters make appearances in it,
Yes.
which made us come to the conclusion that you hold a Christmas number one. Right. And given it's, that this will be up in December, so we'll just pretend it's December now. Given everyone's got their trees up now, and the songs are playing, I just wanted to share some facts about your Christmas number one, which beat Westlife, so that's off down on the CV. We beat Westlife in December 2000. It was 10th on the decade end chart, which is quite impressive considering it came out at the start of the decade. So only 9 other songs were able to, do better than it. And it was 80th and is still 80th in the all-time UK best sellers list. So of every song that's ever been released in the UK, one that your voice appears on is
That's
80th.
actually crazy. Really?
It is.
Isn't that great? I can't believe that. That's amazing. Honestly, oh wow! What a treat it was to record. We couldn't believe that we knocked Westlife off the top spot. That was a real coup. They were well cheesed off, I think, but probably not so much. I should think they probably got a sense of humour about it. But I mean, it's not anyway. No, I won't say that. Yes, we just were thrilled and over the moon by that. It was just bonkers, and we recorded the album, the Bob the Builder album, which was a lot of fun, at Abbey Road. Would you believe? Which is the obviously wonderful place where
Oh, wow.
the Beatles did all their magic, and what a privilege that was. I mean, I couldn't believe it. We were in there, and we were, but Neil Morrissey and Rob Rackstraw and myself were just looking at each other over the thing, because it was a really big studio. And so we got our mics set up and everything, and we were just really conscious. We wanted to get it in on time and do it well. I'd actually lost my voice that morning. I was so worried because I actually had no voice, and that had never happened to me. I was obviously some sort of Larry or something, I don't know. So I'd heard that fresh pineapple juice, had this miraculous curing effect. So I got a runner to go out. It sounds very glamorous, doesn't it? I got a runner to go out and get me some pineapple juice, and I chugged, I don't know, 3 cartons down. By the time I'd got to, actually singing, I'd got my voice back. It was ridiculous. So there's some sort of enzyme in it, bromelain or something, that sorts you out. Anyway, I digress. That was crazy doing that album there. And you just pinch yourself moments, and yeah, I mean, what a privilege. Yeah, can't believe it, really.
Is that the only album you've done? Because this isn't a question I have written down, so I could just be completely wrong. But I had, when I was younger, a Shaun the Sheep album. And I want to know if you ever were a part of the Shaun the Sheep album, because as we're getting to, you were in Shaun the Sheep.
Well, I don't know. I was on a Fimbles album. That was for sure. Did record that. But Shaun the Sheep, no, I wouldn't know. If I was, I'm very happy about it. But with Shaun the Sheep, you kind of go in and you do a whole load of library, as you call it. And so I was Timmy's mum. I think I did Timmy at the start actually, but yeah, they wanted somebody else for that, so that I lost that one. But Timmy's mum, I did. I recall going in and just doing every emotion under the sun with this with this voice and all the different things and all of that. So they'd absolutely got enough, really. Shouldn't have been so good, should I? So yeah, they'd got everything they needed, and occasionally they, get me back in to do bits and bobs of it, specifically to picture, which is another way of working that I absolutely love. I just, yes, that's one of the things I adore doing, is working to picture. And so yeah, they do that a lot. No, I've got no idea if I was on the album. I should be credited, as, of course, if I if I was.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Yeah. God, what was it like? What did they? What songs did they have?
It was as far as I can remember, I think it was there was the theme tune, the Life's a
Yeah.
Bleep. I think it was actually called Life's a Bleep. And there were a lot of covers sung by sheep.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I think it could have been a Christmas album.
That's hilarious. I do remember, though, for the Shaun film, the one in 2015, was that when it was? That we, I went in to do a whole load of workshops with the guys there, which was great fun, with some animators and all of this. And we were coming up with the sort of barbershop, the barbershop quartet thing. And we sang in harmony to the tape. I don't know if you know that little bit where Shaun is trying to calm Timmy down with a song on the tape recorder, and then the other sheep, sing in a sort of little barbershop thing. So I remember doing a bit of that, but I don't think I actually recorded anything specific for any record. No.
No, that was just simply a memory I have of Shaun the Sheep, which I'm going to get onto now, straying away from, your huge music career, which
My music career.
I'm not even sure you knew was that. I mean, Christmas number one, that's good, isn't it?
It is pretty.
Not many people
exciting,
can say
I must admit. Yes. And the only sort of toy I think that I've ever had or been given for any work that I've done was a massive pilchard.
that.
Because I happened to mention it to one of the suits. Oh shit! I shouldn't say that, should I? One of the oh dear, one of the people with power and influence and money and decision making. I said, oh, I'd love a pilchard, and one day this massive pilchard the cat arrived, and so I've kept it ever since. So but I remember when the number one happened, and there is actually a picture of me, I think, with pilchard on the top of my head, and I've got a glass of champagne in my hand. I'm going, yay! And I seem to recall I was in Hammersmith at the time, and I was in one of those flats, where you're the kind of central bit. There's a garden at the bottom, so I was in the garden flat at the bottom, and I was so excited. I had the door open, and suddenly it dropped, and I was like, "Yay!" And I'm really screaming out loud, can't believe it. And all these people going, "Shh, will you be quiet? No, I've just got to number one." What a wally! Then I calmed myself down and had a few more, and I was fine. But yeah,
Brilliant.
it's bonkers.
That is what Shaun the Sheep came around in 1995. Wallace and Gromit: A Close Shave, and it was I've got to do more maths. 5 + 7, 12. It was 12 years later since the series started.
Yeah.
How did they approach you for that one, and how did it feel to? Were you aware of Shaun the Sheep at the time? And
Yeah, I was. Absolutely, yeah. So when you're saying, hang on, let me just look at my. When am I there? I'm there in 2007. Is it? Yeah.
I've got it as 2007. Yeah.
Yeah. So goat and goat. I did the goat as well. Yes, and golly, yeah, that was lovely. Meeting them all and going in and just having a go at one of these sheep. That's right. And they said, yeah, we want you to see if you can give me a mother bleat. And she'd got these rollers on her head, Timmy's mum. And so I just did my best to make it sound not real, because it isn't, but to get her to leap off the page, as it were. Yeah, so that's when that came about, and I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the process because I think I was working to a bit of picture at that point, so it made it a lot easier for me just to see the physicality of the thing. Yeah, I mean, it sounds weird because a lot of people say, "Oh, you're just bleating, you're just doing that." Well, the thing is, okay, maybe, but actually, for me, I'm not. I'm thinking about what they're asking me to get across in any given line. It just sounds ridiculous, I know, but it is. That's what the work is. You're bleating in certain different ways. Can't believe I'm saying this. But yeah, so so bleat-tastic, really. That's what I can say. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it, and I was absolutely thrilled to be asked to actually play a character. The what was her name? Oh, Meryl. And she was the barbershop manager. That's right, in the film in 2015. So I did a lot of stuff, work to picture with that. With Sam, I think it was. Yeah, and just fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Just all the different little subtleties of what they wanted. They want to get across. So we tried all the different scenes in the different ways, and sometimes it's quite difficult because you're not saying words. You've just got to come up with unintelligible lines and words and things and expressions, which for me is not a problem. Because most of the time I'm unintelligible anyway. That's what my husband says anyway. No, moving on.
It's become like a little self-roast here.
Oh, I'm terrible. I'm terrible like that.
That's all right. Okay, so carrying on with the Shaun the Sheep, it's just a little quick one. Out of all the Shaun the Sheep characters, which one, aside from the ones you actually played, do you actually like the most?
Well, I have to say Shaun.
You have to say Shaun.
Yeah, totally. I just love him.
That.
I just totally love him, and I of course I know Justin fairly well. I've worked with him on quite a few projects. The first one was Boo, I believe, and he and I worked and we lots of different voices and things together, and he was just great. He's a great person to work with, and he totally gets it. And yeah, we just had a great time. So he just makes me laugh. He makes me laugh as Shaun. His little moments, that he has, and the asides, and just it's a marriage made in heaven, really, with the fantastic, oh my goodness, fabulous animators that they have at Aardman, who are a lot of them are, they're actors too, because they're people watchers. They have to work out how somebody might get up off a chair with a feeling of X, Y, and Z, and that the marriage of that and a funny person, a person with funny bones, and the ability to change the voice like Justin, that's just great, isn't it? It works.
Does anyone else have a favourite Shaun the Sheep character?
I'm going to say the farmer.
The farmer.
Yes, he is.
I really like the farmer.
He is great. Yeah. Oh.
Tom, do you have a favourite Shaun the Sheep character?
I think I agree with Tom that the farmer
You're
is
a farmer, man.
kind of great, but I'd also like to add that because you play Sean's mum, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Sorry, no, Timmy's mum.
So yeah, Timmy's mum.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Wouldn't it be great if you could just get like a massive life-size sort of teddy of Timmy's mum?
Oh, come on! I would
imagine
love
how
it.
cool that would be.
Can you imagine? I'd like a onesie.
Yes.
with the rollers on top. That would just be fantastic. I'd love that. Yeah, no, I would really love a plush of Timmy's mum, but no, alas and alack.
So when Farmageddon 2 comes out, you know what to
if anyone's listening,
it'd be great if that could happen.
That would just be amazing. I do know that there's a fantastic jewelry shop called I think it's Lucky Charms. I'm not entirely sure. Need to check that. But they are making little silver charms of they've got one of Timmy, they've got one of Shaun, and they've got one of, I think, Clouds. And I keep banging on at them. I'm saying, please, please, you're gonna do it, Timmy's mum. But they don't ever answer me. But anyway, I don't know. But yes, that would be good.
Right then, from this, I believe that everybody's asked their sort of Sean questions. I'd like to talk a bit more about your setup, because I believe you have got an amazing setup. So do you want to just expand on what you're using right now and what you will be using for any future work you do?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, now in this lockdown period, my studio has come into its own, because I do recall actually saying at one point, "Oh no, there's no way I could do a home studio, or there's no way I'd do that technically, because I've got to concentrate on the sort of performance side of things." Well, sorry, Kate, it doesn't cut it anymore. You actually just got to pull your finger out and get on with it. So I did about 5 years ago, and my husband built a fantastic booth for me. And I went through several different sort of connotations, but it's fingers crossed. I'm just going to fingers crossed. It's working like a dream. And you don't want to jinx it, do you? I've got my Mac Mini, which is amazing, because I've always been on a PC, but I've changed to that now, and I've got my Babyface RME Babyface Pro, which is probably far more than I ever would need, but it just is a fantastic gizmo. And no, I don't know everything that it does, but I know exactly what I need it to do for the purposes of what I need it to do. And Shure SM7B microphone. Not everybody's choice, that, because it's a dynamic mic. Which means that it's not omnidirectional. It means it's you've got to have your fizzog right in front of it. But apart from the fact that it's perfect for this space, I love it because it's got a big spongy thing on the end of it, and it looks like a Muppet's nose. So that's what that's what it's it's got to get a little bit of character in there. Yeah, got a curtain, and a what's his name, door with lots of padding and all of that. But I have been told recently by somebody at the sound company, which is really nice. He said, actually, Kate, that sound setup sounds better than some professional booths that I've been working with. So I'm going to go with that. I'll take that. I told my husband, he was very, very happy. So yes, and I'm direct to the router now. So there's no kind of, when you get those dropouts and things. We don't have any of that now. So yeah, it's great, and I love it, and I'm getting much more work my way, obviously, now, because you can't travel. So here is fine. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, how much connectivity you've got now with all these different fantastic programs like Clean Feed and Source Connect, and Source Connect Standard, which I have, though I've only ever used it once for doing, what was I doing? Oh, the Gogglebox ads. Recently, do you watch that?
Yes,
Well,
I do.
I love it. It makes me laugh.
It is so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Who's your favourite?
Oh God. Oh, now you're asking. Oh, I love the brother and sister. I think they're awesome. They make me laugh most, I think.
Brilliant.
They're just great.
I like the ones from Hull, in the caravan.
Oh,
I think
God, yes, they make me laugh too. Yeah.
They're hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, I just love them all. I think they're amazing. But yeah, the car ads, it's for Suzuki, and it's the little moments where the car is actually talking, saying various things, like I'm on the radio, saying about somebody cheating or whatever, and then there's at the end it says, oh yes, you have reached your destination, and that's me. And I recorded that here, so it's really cool to hear that. But I recorded that using Source Connect Standard, which is a paid for thing, which professes to not have any dropouts, and it doesn't. It's very good. and yeah, they use Zoom and Source Connect, that kind of setup, and it works really, really well with all of these different connectivities and all of that. I went off then on a tangent. Bring me back, help me.
No, that's completely fine. Don't worry about it. No, you've described your setup to the next level. So I think you've definitely fulfilled the question there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like to fulfill briefs.
Another a question I just thought of now, and I don't have wrote down, is because you've mentioned Muppets twice now, and
I'm sorry.
it's amazing. I love the Muppets.
good.
There's a Disney Plus TV show called Muppets Now, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, but you've got to watch it because the jokes in there aren't just kids' jokes. They kind of just take the mick out of everything, like adult jokes too. It's hilarious. But
Brilliant.
who is your favorite Muppet? Because this could be a debate here.
Ooh, that is a good question. That's very hard. I feel like I'd be being disloyal to them all. Of course, I love Miss Piggy, for everything she stands for. But I love Kermit. I do. I love Kermit. I love his little nephew Robin as well.
Oh yeah.
But oh, I just can see them all in my head. Fozzie Bear and oh God, Gonzo. I just love them all. I can't do it. Yeah, no, I just love them all. That's
Brilliant.
it. That's my answer.
Brilliant.
That leads me to hang on. No, I just wanted to interrupt.
Oh,
because
okay.
this is
Go
coming
on
up.
then, mate.
This is coming. I know.
Go on,
we're
Tom.
going for
Go
it.
on.
Because of course, coming out of Christmas, we might as well keep on to the Muppets movie.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
not the Muppets movie, the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes.
What was your take on that?
Well, I think the Muppets Christmas Carol is awesome. I love it, and weirdly, my son's English teacher has just said that she wants him to study that version because it's absolutely closest to the text that any other version is.
Wow.
Would you believe that?
No,
that's crazy.
It's true. So yeah, it's been promoted by the top, English teachers. There you go. So and what a brilliant way to learn it, and learn about all the sort of nuance and all the underlying themes that are going on there, and your comprehension. How marvelous is that? I just love it, and I just have such a respect for puppeteers, as well. They're a sort of they're just magic people, and a lot of them, to do both, to manipulate, which is really hard, to manipulate those puppets in the way that they do. They're animating and voicing at the same time, the good ones, absolutely incredible. And it's something I really want to do, but I've never. I would love to have my own puppets so much, but it's a kind of weird thing because puppeteers who have studied for years and they've worked so damn hard to get to where they are, really could resent someone like me, some twatty arse coming in and saying, yes, I would like to, yes, but this because I do voiceovers. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel a little that I shouldn't step into their territory, but I would love to do. I mean, so much so that there was a chap called Marcus Clark. I say was, he still is. And he was a puppeteer who I sort of became aware of. And I just thought, oh, he's doing workshops. Right, that's it. Right, I'm going to book him. So I booked him, and I sold the tickets to people, say, in Bristol and here and all of that, to come and just do a workshop with him, because I wanted to just taste a bit of it, and see what it was like. And it was a fantastic workshop. I loved it. And I don't know if he's still doing them, but yeah, all this training stuff that's out there, there is a hell of a lot. That's something I would really love to do. Because I guess I always did with my teddies. You're practicing voices with your teddies. I had a donkey called Darcy. Darcy the donkey. And I used to give him a voice and move his head around and all of that. And then Huggy Bear used to sit there, and Mighty Mouse and Ferdy Fox and all these things. That was where I tried my voices out. But also I was manipulating the teddies at the same time. So I suppose that's that's where it comes from, I guess. Yeah, where have I gone? What did I say?
It's perfect. It's perfect. And I suppose Jim Henson's just a pioneer in that,
Oh
really,
my
isn't he?
God. Oh my God, I met Brian Henson.
Really?
Oh, come on. It was
How is he?
oh, he was just charming as anything. And Jocelyn Stevenson was the executive producer of Bob, actually, and she used to work with Jim. And so, of course, I used to natter on to her for hours about, how much I loved Jim Henson and the whole ethos and everything. She gave me lots of little sort of insights. And yes, told me how wonderful he was to work with. So I'm very glad of that, because sometimes, you meet your heroes and they disappoint you. Maybe he wouldn't ever, I'm sure. Have you seen Muppet Guys Talking? It's
No.
it's all of the it's Frank Oz and I'm terrible with names. I'm not great at remembering people's names, so do forgive me. So yeah, it's a group of them getting together and talking about their years as puppeteers and how it was to work with Jim and all of these wonderful things. I'll see if I can look it up for you and send it, because it's just the business. Just to hear about how they started and how they were working together, and how they came across, how they created some of the voices from the beginning, and all of that. But yeah, what was I saying? Where was I? I've lost my thread.
It was on about working with Brian Henson.
Oh,
I
yes.
believe it's...
So Brian, I didn't work with him. I met him. I met him at BAFTA, because it was an awards ceremony, and I thought, I've got to. Um, you know, I stole myself
yeah.
and just went, I've just got to go, and so I told him why I might be interested to say hello to him, and he was just charming. And then I sat down, and I don't really remember much else after that. Other than the fact I think we won. I think I was there doing I was there with the Secret Show, and they had these chocolate BAFTAs that were made, and they as centerpieces, and we won that year, I think, and I've still got it. It's still alive. It hasn't melted or anything. It's not rotten or mouldy. So yes, it sits in my lounge, in hopeful anticipation of perhaps becoming real one day. That would be hilarious. Oh.
Just on the back of that, working with Brian Henson, the fact you met him, what did you think of the Happy Time Murders?
Of the what?
Have you not seen his film, Happy Time Murders?
No, I haven't. Oh my goodness, that's
He
shameful.
directed it. It's like it's not child friendly, but it's the Muppets.
Oh, okay.
It's like an adults Muppets film. It's
Oh.
got Melissa McCarthy in it.
Oh, yes. No, no, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh.
I, puppet wise, I used to get a bit freaked out by Spitting Image, but I loved it, and it was brilliant, and I'm so pleased it's back. But it's on BritBox, and I haven't got that. So annoying. So yeah, really clever. Fantastic. We need more satire like that.
Yeah.
But adult. I mean, I loved the watching. Oh God, what was it called? Was it Labyrinth? No. What am I talking about? No, that was before. The Dark Crystal, the one they've just recently released.
Oh, yeah.
I say
Oh, yeah.
recently, it was last year, I think. But oh my God, the work that went into that, absolutely incredible. Such talent to do that. Yeah. All of those things, the behind the scenes things, when you see all the puppeteers with their hands up in the air and all the different stories and all that. I just love all that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like it is. just great. The fact that they're doing satire sort of Muppet sort of theme things, I
Mm.
find them hilarious. And
Yeah.
you do have to watch this. It's not adult as in scary.
Right.
It's adult as in more comedy, action,
Yeah.
sweary,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And it is hilarious. You'll absolutely love
I
it.
will look that up, definitely. I can't believe I haven't seen it, but life gets in the way. Like, human beings that you love dying. Sorry to bring the tone down, but things kind
It's
of go
okay.
out the window, don't they, when you're focused somewhere else? So,
Of course, yeah.
yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Just on the back of when you was on about like the whole behind the scenes things as well.
Yeah.
How do you when you get given a role? How do you approach that when like it comes to a character? It's like I know a sheep can have a bar, but I suppose there's like certain tones for emotions, and there's a lot that genuinely goes into it. I can imagine.
Mhm.
So like, how would you go about approaching that? Do you practice in front of the mirror, for an example, or is it more of a sort of professional thing, which I assume it may be?
Well, I mean, everyone's got their own way of getting there. I recently did well for the last 5 years. I've been teaching my version of how to get there. Doing a workshop for acting for animation. I was asked to do it because it's not necessarily something I would volunteer to do because that annoying thing that you mentioned before, that the sort of self-deprecation thing is it's like sort of, I suppose, imposter syndrome. It's thoroughly boring, I know, but it's there, and I don't know why. Constantly, worried that you're not. So who the fuck would listen to me? Type thing. Who the fuck am I? What can I say? Well, I then had to really assess that. So I made this workshop, and I really looked into it and what my process was, and it really was definitely from a physical place. Um, if I think of a voice or if I think of a character, I kind of do embody it, and it's like a sort of feeling. Certainly within my mouth as well, mouth shape down to mouth shape, tongue shape. It not, but that's sort of making it sound too technical. It's not what I mean. It's a feeling, and so that's where I start. And so encouraging people to understand physically what an impediment might be, or how that would make your voice sound, or um, coming from a different place to affect your voice in some way. So why would that face make you sound like that? Or if you've got really goofy teeth on the character, you can use that. All the little tricks and things that you can do. And if it's coming from a place of your truth, yeah, so you really believe it, and it's absolutely truthful, it works. It absolutely works. It comes across. And so that's what I base it on. And you've got different things, like sometimes you get a script, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get a picture, sometimes you don't. But whatever information you're given about that character, you just absorb it and read it, take it in, be it, feel it, and then let it out. That's how I can describe it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite interesting. Just on that, has anybody else got anything to ask before we move into quickfire questions? And that was a really perfect explanation for just everyone's different, well, your personal method. But sorry for just dismissing that there. But has anybody else got anything else to add?
I do have one actually.
Brilliant.
Kate,
Hello.
I've got to ask: do you ever search yourself up online?
Do I ever what?
Search yourself up online, like on your Wikipedia, because you do have a Wikipedia, which basically just means you've made it at that point.
Oh right, yes. No, I have looked at those things. They are quite funny. One of them said I was born in Henley-on-Thames, but it's, it's probably because I've got quite a sort of what people might call unfashionable voice now. It's a sort of standard RP. So that's probably why they thought that. No idea. No. No. The only yeah, I have done that, because you're kind of constantly going, right, well, how can I publicize myself and services, as it were, as an artist, and the fact that you've done this work and you need to show people that you've got experience in this work. So you're constantly promoting. You're having to promote yourself all the time to get under people's noses and radar, really. So yeah, I have done, and obviously you have to input things into things like IMDb when you can be bothered, and things like that. And I do have a YouTube channel, but I'm not the best person at doing all that. I do my best, and with all the socials and everything. But yeah, no, I don't. It does occur sometimes where I click my name and there it is, and somebody said that. Oh dear, no, no, it's all a little bit weird. It doesn't really bother me, it's fine.
Fair enough.
Have you?
Have I ever searched you up or searched myself?
Yourself. It's quite funny though when you do that. Sometimes you come up with and you go, oh my God, there's another Harbour somewhere, or oh, there's another, Kelly, or there is another whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I have done that, but it always comes up with just like random people from like Uzbekistan or something. It's never actually me. I've not quite made it yet. But...
Oh, fantastic! Oh, brilliant! Yeah, no, I've seen on LinkedIn or whatever. There's an Oliver Harbour, and he's actually an illustrator. And he's brilliant. So occasionally I say hello and all of that. And then, of course, there's that really cool dude, David Harbour, who was in Stranger Things, if you remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, he's cool. So, yeah, it's weird. It's all a bit weird. Yeah, just get on with the work, really.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, I've got one more just before the quick times. It should be a quick one. In your downtime, do you ever just like make up like characters and stories to match like those voices? Because you mentioned the Donna the Dragon and the Sandy the Sock.
Yeah.
I just want to know, do those guys have backstories?
Not that I was aware of at the time, but yeah, I was just asked to be these things, and they do give you an overview of where they sit in the story. So sometimes you do get a backstory. Sometimes it just this is it, and that's them, and they have a relationship here, and blah blah. So you just make it up in your head. If you haven't got a backstory, you just make something up. But yes, I'm always mucking about, and much to my husband and son's annoyance. Sometimes they join in. It's quite fun, but I sometimes find, as I said, it's like a feeling. So I find myself, talking or finding a different mouth position or whatever, and then coming up with a character that goes with it. And I'm talking to my husband about what should we have for dinner or whatever, and so suddenly it comes out, and I'm saying, oh my God, I found one! I got another one! Brilliant! Do I ever remember to write the buggers down? No. So but anyway, it's great experiment to experiment like that, and yeah.
Well,
Crazy
thank
woman.
you for that. All right, Sam, do you want to start the quick fires?
I'll start.
Quick fires make me nervous.
Quick fire. Well, we call them quick fire, but we've had guests in the past.
Let's take our time, shall we? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am
Fast as possible, Sam.
So, do I say it quick or do I just have a quick answer?
Have a countdown after you say it. Just go 5, 4, 3.
This is a two-parter. The first part is the quick fire. Do you remember the episode Blitzer from the Black Lagoon?
Nope.
Oh. Well, anyone else have a question? Because that was a two-parter that really relied on you remembering.
I've got one.
Let's go.
Right, so Bob the Builder has a new design, and I know you've worked with them before, but I want you to be absolutely genuine in your answer. What is your opinion on the new Bob the Builder design?
I am not particularly a fan of that particular way of CGI drawing. It's obviously very difficult because I was very familiar with it, and it's stop motion for me was golden years, and I don't particularly like the way it's drawn now. I'm afraid.
Yeah,
not my bag.
Good answer. Right then. So, Tom, you got one?
Oh, I do. It's just a random one. Are you a jam person or are you a no jam person?
You've got to have jam, haven't you?
You have got to get jam. Some
What's
people
in-
hate German. I don't know why.
Why? They're weird.
They are weird. What one do you go for?
Oh, I'm raspberry.
Yes. See,
Yeah.
Kate knows it.
Yeah, raspberries all the
Raspberry
way.
jam's the best one.
Yeah.
Red apples or green apples?
Red.
Yes. See, she's a perfect person. Everyone knows it. Red's
Perfect
better
in
than
every
green.
way.
Do you have a favourite character that you have ever voiced?
Well, as I said before, Dizzy really it probably
Dizzy, yeah.
sticks out. Yeah. I think, but then closely followed by, just to counteract that, Doctor in The Secret Show. I absolutely loved playing her.
Was it fun playing? Sorry, Tom. Was that?
No, Sam, carry on. You got a further on than me. I've been interrupted by Tom. It's just completely fine. I'm just gonna go and cry after this.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Whilst you're crying, I'll ask
I'm carry
my
on.
question.
I'm off into the corner. I'll see you in
Right,
a bit.
whilst you're crying, I'll ask my question. So, in Farmageddon, you voiced Agent Red, which was quite different to Timmy's mum
Yes,
because
indeed.
she's human
Mm.
and Timmy's mum isn't. Was that doing both a sheep and a human? This has not come out how I expected it. I'm asking,
You made me cry for this, Sam.
Go on.
I've just asked the question. Was it different voicing a sheep to a human? Which is the worst question I've ever asked on this show.
But let's break that down. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, no, of course it was. But it was a privilege to actually play a human. On there. So yeah, it was great fun to do, and I did do quite a lot of work on it, in London and also in Bristol, yeah, a lot of the time it was working to picture, and they're just great. I just love the process. I love working with them. So yes, it was quite refreshing to play her. And although she turns, she's the villain at the start, you can understand her at the end. So there's reasons for everyone being an arsehole.
I think there was a redemption to that question. It could have gone a lot worse with how I structured it, but I think you saved that very nicely.
That's
Tom,
very
do you want to ask yours now, Tom?
All right then. Mine was, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer this one because I only ask the hard-hitting questions, and I also don't butt in like Sam. But
Come along, boys.
but mine is Bob the Builder or Shaun the Sheep.
Is this like a battle to the death situation?
Shaun the Sheep.
Oh, okay. That was a. What's the reasoning?
Well, I love animals, and he's funny. He's very, very funny. Humour wins hands down for me. Although I have to say, Neil, of course, who played Bob in the British version, in the original, was very funny himself, and so that was great. He was hilarious, in fact. But it doesn't necessarily come across in the character. With I suppose Sean's a bit more slapstick, isn't he? So there you go. That's it.
Brilliant. That's a great answer to it. Has anybody else got anything else before Sam outros?
You go first.
I had one more. Yeah, I'm not being a Sam.
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah, quite conveniently, we interviewed Neil Burgess, who, if you're not aware, okay, is Barry Scott from the old TV adverts.
Silly Bang, yeah.
Yeah, Silly Bang. We had him on, and he was great. And I was talking to him about voice acting, and basically I was like, oh yeah, you should pursue a career in this. How easy would it actually be for someone, not necessarily of his level, maybe just our level, to actually get into such a career?
Well, if you approach it correctly and you get the right coaching from the right people and you really listen, it is possible. If you come from an acting background, it helps. But if you haven't, get acting lessons, because to understand the character is far more important than just doing a voice. the nuance and everything, making it believable. And then you can work on everything else after that, in all the different genres that there are, there are many. Yeah, I mean, it's anyone's game at the moment. But it's really important that you study with the right people. There are a lot of people out there who really want to cash in on that, and they're perhaps not serving you; they're serving themselves. So, and that doesn't serve the industry at all, really. So yeah, it's not easy, and if anyone says it's easy, well, just have a rethink. It's not. You'll come unstuck in the end, because I'm afraid the good will out, and that is eventually what it is. You can get lucky. You can just phone it in. You can, whatever, but you won't have longevity necessarily. So if you want to do it and you want to do it right, study with the right people.
Oh, thank you for
Brilliant.
that. I think
Brilliant.
Tom had one more.
Yes, brilliant. So, just before Sam outros, this will be uploaded around the December time. And Christmas happens in December. So I want to know, what are you doing for Christmas this year? With it all being a bit different.
Oh, yes. Well, we are hoping very much that my my in-laws are going to be able to come over, as they live in Bristol. It's not far, but with the tier system and all that. But we're doing that. It's all about food. It's all about games and watching good bits of telly and all that. In fact, I got no idea what's on. But there's no point in saying that these days, because it's you can watch anything, can't you? With all the streaming stuff that's going on and things. But I quite like the analog. But yeah, just stuff in my face and watching telly, really. And being with my family.
That's probably what we're all going to be doing this year, and it doesn't sound too bad, to be honest, does it?
Oh my God, no! I mean, it will be hard for me, because I lost my mum she died in January, so it will be a bit tricky, because all of last year I was looking after her, really, and my father went in 2009, so yes, I know I'm an old bird, but yeah, I was very close to them both, and so it's a tricky time, but I am very thankful and grateful for what I have, and my amazing husband and amazing son, and extended family. How lucky am I? I still have that. I have my health, and I have a whole bag of fabulous memories, and so we're going to try and keep the positive going, because we need a bit of that, don't we?
Indeed, we do. And I mean, you've really made our days positive by coming on the podcast. So it was absolutely amazing when Sam, who organised it, got the news. So I feel like it is only right if Sam outros it.
Okay, well, okay, my outro usually consists of two parts. The first part being asking a question not for our benefit, but for the viewers' benefit.
Yes.
I've previously mentioned they are all of a similar age group to us,
Yes.
which is 17, 18, 19-year-olds,
Mm-hmm.
and they are moving on to the next part of their life. And can I ask, is there a particular piece of advice, whether that's career advice, whether that's just general life advice, any piece of advice that you would offer to them if they came to you looking for it?
Oh, if they came to me, oh goodness. Go with your inner, just go with your heart. Just don't take no for an answer. Try and stay as positive. Don't listen to your inner demons. Just tell them to pack their bags. You know who you are. Go out there and live it and be it, and do it with joy, because when you open the door to joy, joy will come back into your life, I believe. So, go out there with a positive and generous heart, I think. Really, that's kind of it.
That's fantastic. That is a fantastic answer. Thank you so much for
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Can you tell our viewers where they can find you if they want to learn more about you, where you're active on your social medias?
Oh yes, gosh, I hadn't thought of that. So Instagram is is kateharbour.vo, I think, and kateharbour.com is my website, we do have a business page on Facebook, but I don't really know how to work it. And what else is there? There's IMDb, you can catch me there. And I'm on Twitter as well as just Kate Harbour, I believe. So yes, but
That's
I'd
perfect.
love to, just have more followers and likes and just increase the family. Really, that would be lovely.
No,
But
that's
I don't
brilliant.
really know what they're for. But it's quite nice to know that there are people out there that enjoy what you do. So that's it.
That's excellent. The links to them will be in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, and you can go check them out on Spotify as well. Thank you, Kate, so much for coming on. This has been an amazing episode, and you've had so many amazing stories to tell us.
It's been a complete pleasure, and I hope I haven't rambled on too much. But
Absolutely not.
yes, I've really enjoyed talking to you all. It's been lovely, and I really wish you all the best with this podcast because
Thank you.
I think it's magic that you're the mavericks out there going for it. So just keep it going and do it with joy. It's wonderful.
No, thank you so much, Kate, and thank you to you as well for just brightening up our childhoods when we were younger and
Oh, don't make me cry.
Yeah.
making us smile today. It's amazing. Thank you so
How
much.
lovely. Oh, it's a pleasure.
The nostalgia from the Dizzy voice as well. That was just
It's amazing.
I'd like to say thank you so much for having me on your program. What was it called? Sort of podcast. That's it. Yes. Bye.
Thank you.
That was amazing.